Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. For the last 15 years, we've all been told the CD is dead. When I'd meet somebody on a plane or at a party and they asked me what I did for a living and I said, I manufacture CDs, the response usually was, people still buy CDs? And that was a common perception, except apparently nobody told music fans. According to Luminate, the company that tracks music sales in the US, CD sales were up 16% in the first half of 2026. That's right, up 16%. I gotta be honest, even I am a bit surprised at how fast CDs are growing right now after more than 2 decades of decline. What's going on? Why is a format that everyone wrote off suddenly growing again at double digits? I think one of the reasons is, and if you're an independent artist, you want to understand this, that streaming changed the role of the CD. It killed the need for the CD as a listening format, right? We can all listen to those songs on Spotify, but it created a way for a fan to value the music that they love, to own it, to hold it, and to cherish it. In short, the CD is not so much something we listen to today. Today, a CD says, I love this artist enough to own a piece of their work. That doesn't mean people don't listen to CDs. One reason CDs are growing again is that Gen Z is discovering them. Not like old heads like me rediscovering our old CD collection. Gen Z is discovering CDs for the first time. For many younger fans, CDs aren't outdated, they're new and they're exciting. They're physical, they're collectible, and they're affordable. And it helps that, for example, for my teenage niece who just bought herself a 2003 Honda Civic as her first car, that the only way she can listen to her music in the car is on CD. There's no USB drive, there's no Bluetooth. So yes, CDs do get listened to, but that's not what's driving the resurgence. This is not just about Gen Z. Something broader is happening. I think it's that today's CD is actually a better product than it was 30 years ago. Think back to the 90s, if you're old enough. You'd hear a great song on the radio, then a second hit by that artist. You'd buy the CD and discover that the other 10 tracks were basically filler, because too often the record label pushed the artist to get an album out onto the market with a bunch of songs that weren't as good as a single. Consumers hated that, and it gave CDs a bad name. Today, thanks to streaming, that problem with filler on CDs is pretty much gone. Before you buy an album, you know what the songs are that are on it because you listen to it on streaming. CDs have become a premium album experience, and fans look forward to buying the CD of the artist that they love because a CD offers so much more than streaming can. And since streaming solved the listening problem, that freed up CDs to become something entirely different. Opening up the package, folding out the lyrics, looking through the photos, discovering a bonus track that you just can't stream. Streaming just doesn't do that. We've arrived at the point where the CD has become a collectible or a souvenir that says, I was there when they were up and coming. They're a way for fans to support artists that they love. Oh, and one more reason that CDs are growing again? They occupy a completely different place in the market than vinyl. Vinyl is the premium collectible. It sells for $25, $30, sometimes over $40. A CD is the affordable collectible. You can still buy them at some concerts for $10, $12, $15, max $20. That means that they appeal to a different fan base, different budgets, and different buying occasions. I've noticed informally and purely from my personal observation that fans over 25 tend to gravitate toward vinyl, while fans in their teens and early 20s frequently prefer CDs. Maybe it has to do with a difference in buying power, but it corroborates the point that Gen Z is gravitating toward the optical disc. And here's one more thing. If you're an independent artist, there's one more reason you should be paying attention to CDs. The economics are fantastic. A professionally manufactured CD typically costs between $2 and $4 if you're going deluxe on your packaging. Sell it at your concert for $15 and your gross profit margin can easily exceed 80%. You can make over $10 in profit off every CD you sell. Think about that for a sec. That equals the revenues from more than 3,000 Spotify streams. What do you think is easier, sell one CD or generate 3,000 Spotify streams? This is exactly why physical media still matters. And unlike vinyl, which can take a couple of months to manufacture, a professionally replicated CD can be done in as little as a week. And unlike 20 years ago, you don't need to order 500 or 1,000 CDs. Today, you can take a lot of the risk out. A professionally manufactured CD can be available in as few as 100 copies, and for some packaging types, even 50. So here's my takeaway. In a nutshell, the CD isn't making a comeback because people suddenly miss the old days. Its role has changed, and that's bringing in new music fans. Today, Spotify is something you consume, but a CD is something that you keep.